Bring you back to the discussion in studio. The ANC Congress is the African National Congress, is celebrating 112 years of its existence. And of course, we will be expanding on this end as we try and get some analysis from political analyst Dr John Molepo, who will be talking to us about the January 8th statement, shedding light on the corruption, crime and load shedding, some of the big important factors which may be big challenges, pose big challenges ahead of elections this year. We take you now to Dr. Molepo. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. As the congregants and delegates, prepare for the January 8th statement, my colleague Ziyanda Ngobo, they're speaking about the finances of the ANC, really just trying to get a sense on whether or not, the gala dinner tonight will go a long way in helping the ANC cushion its financial instability. And of course, Gwen Ramokgopa speaking to different elements, talking about how they're restoring relations, and they claim to have stabilized their finances, reduced liabilities by 50%. How important will finances be for this year as the ANC goes into elections?
Thank you, Mpo, and good afternoon to your viewers. And I think what is important, each and every institution obviously will require finances to operate. And I think the ANC is one of those big organizations also that requires finances, particularly going to these elections wherein it's one of the contested elections wherein also the ANC find itself wherein they're losing power, or not necessarily power, but then they're losing members. And the numbers are not also allowing from the ANC. So it tells you that the ANC will really need to do a lot, particularly in their campaign, so that they can also spread and get all members across South Africa. Remember, in South Africa currently, particularly the ANC, is faced with two important aspects, whether in politics and also in administration. Why I'm saying this thing, if we were to look into the message that obviously some of us we expect Cyril Ramaphosa to deal with, is the question of politics. There's a question of MK party. The ANC has been silent on the MK party, and I think it's also confusing its members. The members of ANC are really confused. They don't know what to say. I think it's important that the ANC speaks about what we call the MK party. What is happening? If it ties with Jacob Zuma, let it do so that it might not confuse its members. So there are a lot of issues that the president should reflect about. But also finances, obviously, they play a very fundamental role in campaigning and ensuring that the administration and the election runs smoothly for the ANC.
You make mention of the MK party as one important consideration which will add weight to this year's January 8th statement. What are the others? For one, 2024 concludes President Cyril Ramaphosa's first term in his capacity as head of state.
Well, like I said, there are two things, whether politics, governance and administration. But in politics, there's question of ethical issues that the president should be able to address. Look, there are still state capture issues that are still outstanding. So something that maybe the president should reflect about, because of we still have other members of the ANC who are still implicated on issues of ethics, particularly on the state capture, but nothing has been done to them. And also the question of recommitment to the renewal project. They've been saying about step aside. Look, currently as we speak, the allegations around Blade in Zimande. I think when coming back to governance is something that the president should decisively deal with this particular issue. But also let us look into the governance and administration. South Africans, as we are speaking today, they are actually exhausted. They are tired about, English that has been spoken by the ANC, a lot of concepts coming from the ANC. An ordinary person from Soshanguve, from Mbombela, from Kanyamazan is looking for an electricity. The consistent electricity that comes from government. And also they are tired of what we call criminality that is happening in South Africa. But also one important issue is the economic conditions that each and every person in South Africa find themselves in. Look, as you are speaking now, the conditions are bad. A person in Soshanguve is still living in poverty. Young people are still unemployed. So it tells you that in the past 30 years, in this coming January statement, what is it that the president going to address? People are tired about these promises. I think what is important is for the ANC president to give South Africa the progress and the timelines of what is it going to achieve in this particular term should they be voted. Because they've been saying, but what is it that comes from them? So South Africans are tired of hearing promises. What they need to see what is happening, and they need timelines. Time frames are very important. So the president must be able to commit to South Africans that at this particular time, 20% of unemployment could have been reduced. We're going to seek this thing and this thing. They must provide timelines, and there must be action this time. Because they've been telling South Africans, and South Africans actually are tired. And I think in this particular statement, the president must restore hope to all South Africans that it's possible to vote for the ANC again, so that they can come again to be in governance and lead this particular country.
Yeah, what you're essentially saying is that the ANC, is playing a high-stakes game and fighting for its survival. How much room is there to make bigger promises as the party is yet to, as you make mention, fully deliver on past commitments?
Well, to tell you, to be honest, we must be honest. ANC has delivered at some point. There's where they are still lacking. I think most South Africans they still need that hope from the president to really commit that the ANC can be able to achieve this thing and this thing at this particular time. Failure to motivate or to encourage or to get support from the voters, it might see itself in coalition. But though I still believe that coalition, it might be not necessarily possible for this particular election, but we can see it in various provinces. But it depends on how the ANC in their survival are going to ensure that they win the electorate. So what needs to happen is simple. The president must restore hope, must tell the people of South Africa that indeed this is what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it and how I'm going to do it. Let me tell you something. If a ship is sinking, the captain comes and tells its people that this is the time that we are going to work. So it's important that the leader, Ramaphosa, must take on and tell the South Africans that this is what is going to be done, and this is how it's going to be done. And hopefully they can still recover the losses or disgruntled supporters from the ANC who left to the MK or various political parties, or those who are saying, I'm not going to vote. So it's their last chance to demonstrate to the South Africans that indeed we are ready as the ANC to be able to take you forward.
With President Ramaphosa expected to ask the country to give the ANC one more chance ahead of the fast approaching elections, the timing, of course, a little bit off. I mean, his predecessor, Jacob Zuma, was working the ground in efforts to reduce the governing party's majority. And the ANC, on the other hand, is yet to officially take disciplinary action against him. It doesn't look like there's much legroom with ANC fighting for its survival. And what's your take on the ANC not officially dealing with former President Jacob Zuma?
Look, like I said in the beginning, that the silence from the ANC, it makes it difficult for its members to really know the stance around the MK, because the MK really is taking members from the ANC, maybe perhaps who are disgruntled or who support Jacob Zuma. I think what Jacob Zuma did warrants expulsion from the organization because of it's a highly discipline from any member of the organization to really to decampaign your current organization. So I think the silence from the NEC it makes it difficult for ANC members. But if they don't take any decision around Jacob Zuma, I think it might cause more damage. It's high time that the president, even the NEC, announces and cut ties with Jacob Zuma. As much as Jacob Zuma has still supporters, but I think knowing exactly what the organization organization wants, with this kind of people, I think it's important for the ANC to really take a stance on this MK issue, because of their silence still confuses the South Africans again. So it's important also for the ANC as they are going to this particular election, they really need to understand that Jacob Zuma, wherever he is, he still wants to head the ANC. So it's important for the ANC to really take decision as soon as possible, so that the members and the supporters of South Africa know, the supporters of the ANC know that indeed we do not form part of this particular MK, because of wasting time will really help the ANC.
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much. Thanks for weighing in on this discussion, Dr. John Molepo, who's a political analyst.